That's right, I'm down here with Group 9, and I just want to show you right here, starting at the front, this is George in our Corvette. What's special about this car? It actually took second at the Le Mans race in 2003. I talked to him today. Obviously, he finished first in yesterday's qualifying race, but what they did today, added some new tires. So hopefully that will allow him to stay up on the top in that pole position. Moving our way down the grid here, we've got this stunning blue sky. It's white and blue, it's beautiful. Our Porsche, he said he made a little bit of shock adjustments. They're ready to master that rainy curve. So hopefully we've got a little Porsche, a Corvette battle going down. And then moving a little bit further in our third position, we've got Chris in a Corvette, actually really good friends with George at the top. He also had a little bit of trouble, still finished in third. His plan, he's got a different line in turn 7. So he's gonna really make that happen. Moving down the line, we've got Juan here. We talked a lot about the sun. Juan loves historic race cars. It's a beautiful day is what we were just talking about. So everybody is excited to see how their cars perform a little bit differently in the sun. So as you can see, I've got these guys lined up. If we keep moving just a little bit further, I've got a little treat for you down here. Past this Porsche. As you can see, I don't know if you know, V8 supercars, Australian fans, anybody tuning in, and the man behind this car, you may know him, Zach Brown. He's ready to put it all out there. And this is actually our only V8 supercar in this grid here, so that'll be interesting to watch. So lots of Porsches, lots of Corvettes, but this one's definitely gonna stand out from the crowd. So let's see, oh there, my driver's in there. Here we go, excuse me. Hey there. On the wrong side. How's it going? I saw you earlier today. We've got a lot going on with F1, but now you get a chance to step in this V8 supercar. You were out there yesterday. How much of a difference is it in this vehicle?
Well, I'm on the wrong side of the road, exactly. But no, it's good fun. We had a good race yesterday, so hopefully we'll move forward. That's the goal.
Absolutely. And thinking about the different cars in this class, what do you think really makes a difference for you? I mean, obviously you're on a different side of the car, but what does your car have to give for these other ones?
Car's pretty good under braking and through the corners, but it's lacking a little bit of power compared to the GT cars. So it's a bit of a seesaw on the racetrack. So try and get a good start and see where we go.
Absolutely, it's all about that start. Well, thank you so much and have a good race out there.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's head back up to Johnny. These guys are getting strapped in. I'm getting the whistle now for 3 minutes to go on the grid. If we want to just keep walking down. Oh, there we go, firing on up. It's going to be quite the race. So, Johnny, why don't you take us through it?
Absolutely, Taylor, run, for heaven's sake, don't stay there. Those boys aren't gonna hang about. But I've got the Zingers still here with me, and I want to finish off before we go to this race. Guys, we've got people tuning in from Australia, from Great Britain, from around the world. Tell us where they can find you. Tell us if they're really interested where they can look, because I'm sure you've pricked a few people's interest, because a lot of people will never have seen these cars, and I think you've got people chatting.
Absolutely. So we are a California brand. We are a US-based company, but we are international with our sales already. So if you're in the UK, HR Owens. If you're in Germany, Door Group. If you're in Japan, Sky Group. If you're in the Middle East, we're going to have 9 Motors there. If you're in Canada, we've got Pfaff Auto. Across the US, we've got 7 of the best dealers representing us as close partners, as our sales team, as our service team, including Tom O'Gara's group, Tom Price's group, the luxury collection to our left and right. So plenty of opportunity, and there are still a few cars left, so hurry on in.
I was going to say, sounds like you got it all covered. You're going to have to go into bigger production.
Well, not for this car, but for what comes after, likely. I mean, this car, to me, really represents the inflection point between analog design and engineering and the first total system level integrated digital design and engineering. And these are going to be super, super collectible cars.
Before you go, you just saw Taylor talking us through some of the Group 9 cars. Are there any cars, any normal cars, because you guys have got supercars, but are there any other cars that you've seen out here this weekend that you're like, whoa, was wanting to see one of those?
Oh my gosh, so many. I mean, obviously we love cars from the 60s, like the Corvettes, the Mustangs, the Trans Am cars. There aren't many here, but the Can-Am was always my favorite series. Up on your, when we were coming in, that billboard, as Lucas knows, the W196R, the Mercedes, was always my inspiration. He's seen that car, you know, that along with the SR-71 Blackbird, you know, which is the world's fastest manned air-breathing craft. So, you know, very wide range of vehicles. Lucas?
Lucas?
Yeah, I mean, so many cars I'm into, from American Muscle to the Italian cars we have here. I think that gray F40 that I saw, that made my heart stop for a second. On the Ford side, there's a Ford Falcon, a black Ford Falcon. I love that car. I think the history is neat. Really a car that has similar capability to a Mustang, but a lot of people don't quite understand that or know that. So that was a highlight for me to see that car.
Good. Well, thanks for coming in, guys. Best of luck with the cars. I've got the brochures. I will be keeping them and keeping in touch with you guys. Hopefully we'll see you back here next year. Best of luck at the end of next year when you start selling these babies.
Okay.
And there's always room in the, if it doesn't work out, there's always room to talk about it.
We'll be back and we'll get you in one of these on the track.
That I will
How's
hold
that?
you to.
I promise you.
Just fine.
I
You don't
promise
have to
you
let me drive it. I'll sit in one.
We'll let you drive it.
There you go.
Cheers, cheers.
I'll
Okay,
take you
cheers.
around. Hey, thanks, guys. Really good.
Thanks, John.
Father and son team making Zinger a household name around the world, and we're looking forward to what has been a fantastic exhibition, both on track and off track. And if you're here at the location, please get down. As you can hear, they're two of the friendliest guys you'd ever want to meet, and they've got a fantastic product, so go down and see them. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Lucas.
Come on by the factory.
I will. Thank you so much. Right, let's get down. And I agree with what Lucas was saying about the car that Zach Brown's driving. It's such a rarity to see V8s from Australia here in America, because of course NASCAR is king here. But we had the V8s at COTA a few years ago, and even had a couple of NASCAR guys try them out. And really, they are very, very impressive. And if you don't know about the V8 Championship in Australia or Bathurst or any of the big races, tune in, take a look on the internet. They're a fantastic race series and have been for many, many years. And of course, the reason why Zach Brown is in that car is that he is currently involved in that championship. So with United Motorsports, so definitely get a chance. There it is, that whole going on the outside there with the Mobile colours and the Rockstar paint scheme right behind the Porsche. Like he says, he might lack a little bit of power in that V8 compared to some of the Porsches, but he's right in the thick of it with 10 laps to go. So this is our Group 9, 95 to 2012 IMSA ALMS GT LMGT production cars, and they're roaring into action. We've got Ferraris, Porsches, the odd Corvette. I say odd Corvette, there's certainly nothing odd about a Chevrolet Corvette C5R. George Crass at the wheel. And a couple of Porsche GT3Rs. Matt Johnson out there. And already the field spreading out, but Zach holding his own. I hadn't realized what a good racing driver Zach Brown was, and I don't mean to be rude to him, but we're so used to him managing and being a marketeer, and his company United in the USA, obviously, spent many years in sponsorship in car racing in America, but of course now as CEO of McLaren and having to run Mr. Lando Norris and Mr. Daniel Ricciardo next weekend at Austin is enough on his plate, but he still has time to race the cars, and I love that fact. So just coming into shot, the number 12 GT3 Cup car from 2012. That's Ransom Webster from Reno, Nevada at the wheel of that. Beautiful paint scheme, and all of these cars absolutely immaculately prepared. Ransom currently in, what, 7th place overall. George Crass is the man that's jumped out into the lead. He had a good run yesterday, and he's doing the same again today. Finished second at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, as you heard from Taylor there. And also a little fun fact, it also helped Chevrolet win the manufacturer team championship in 2003 and 2004 in ALMS IMSA competition. Finished the 2003 24 Hours of Le Mans. Second place. Some beautiful sounds too as they roar on out. Out of turn 12 they come. Zach Brown up to 5th place already. Juan Gonzalez, I've spent quite a lot of time with a man from Mission Foods. He races in SVRA and is a constant factor, as well as running in IGT as well and sponsoring that. So he's a familiar face to me at least, and I'm sure to many in the historic scene. As we take a look at the 43 going through, shot there. The GT3 Cup car from 2001, that's Howard Swig from San Francisco in that one. Whoa! Getting a little bit of out of shape there with the 2000 Porsche. In all blue, that's Matt Johnson. He was here last year as well. And I think he may well have been at Sonoma as well. So good to see him pedaling around hard. And of course this era, 95 to 2012, there's plenty going on in the world, but an interesting time both for racing and for the world. The age where Google begins in 1998, Facebook founded in 2004, and along came the iPhone, 2007. All of this happening while these boys were racing around the circuits. Corvette sounds so good. Matt Johnson's car, incidentally, in 2000, Mid-Ohio, Daytona Sears Point, raced there and also took part in the 24 Hours of Daytona and raced in the inaugural Grand Am Championship in 2000. Out of Pro Technic in Houston, Texas. So it's also a car that was campaigned by Kevin Buckler, of course, who's based down the road. Kevin also a man who has done a lot of historic racing, and he and his team were very much a part of the first inaugural Sonoma race for Velocity Invitational. And I'm sure Kevin will be back here again to race as well. And not here this weekend, I don't think. But his TRG group prepared cars, winners of Daytona and many a race under that name, including Aston Martins and Porsches. As we look at the blue sky, 36 from 2000, Clay Cavari from Tucson, Arizona at the wheel. Currently in what, second place? Excuse me, in third place. And this was an original factory ALMS and Grand Am car restored to period correct participation for the 2024 Hours of Le Mans under Mike Olucci Racing, driven by Court Wagner and Shane Lewis. And did, in fact, do several European Le Mans events, including the Nürburgring, Silverstone, and ran then a full campaign in ALMS in 2000. In 2002, finishing 11th overall at Daytona. And Van Overbeek, one of the drivers of that car. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Overbeat was due to drive here this weekend. There's Zach Brand still pedaling away in 5th place. He's got a good little battle going on, hasn't he? That's a nice little battle between himself, Juan Gonzalez in 4th, and David Lockwood just behind as they dive into the corkscrew. And it's great to see the Porsches and the V8 supercars on track together like this. Like he says, quite a different configuration, not one we're used to seeing on track together, but I love it. And that's all part of Velocity Invitational. Five laps to go then in our Group 9 feature race. And I'll tell you what, I don't know how it sounds across the airwaves, but here sitting in the middle of the paddock, it sounds absolutely glorious. I'm here right by the start finish in the middle of the paddock, and it's literally a cacophony of sound echoing around the hillside. I get to hear them roar past the main straight, and then I actually see them come through turn 3 where the hospitality, and then they grunt straight out of there, right where we are now. So as they accelerate under the Michelin Bridge, I get another nice big roar from these Porsches. And then they drift off into the distance. Yeah, Zach was saying, good braking on these Holtons, nice. Then I'll tell you what, he's gonna put the herd on as they head uphill. Come on, Zach, put on a show. Up to the top of the Rahal straight, down into the corkscrew one more time. Corkscrew, not advisable unless you're very brave to make an overtake, but a clean one can be round the outside of Rainey or into 10 potentially. And here's that battle once again for P1. And again, it's between those Chevrolets. The number 50 in 2nd place at the moment. It's George Crass. And this is a good race, really good race. Pretty equally matched. It's interesting because on my notes, I've got George Crass in the 50 and the 53. So, well, see if I can find out which is which, because this is too good a race. Yeah, it's Chris Hines actually in the 53, and then yeah, there you go. Chris Hines leading in the 53, and then George Crass in the 50. So let's get that clear straight from the get-go. Two great cars. And Chris doing a really good job. Is it Martin?
Oh.
Now, I just went quiet because I've got Martin Lauber and Alan Turpins joining me in the commentary booth to enjoy the last couple of laps of our Group 9 feature race. Let me catch you up. We've got an almighty battle here between these Corvettes. Here at the lead, George Crass and Chris Hines. Guys, welcome. Enjoy. What have you got to say? How's your day, first of all?
We're having a fantastic event here. Racing, I myself am racing in Group 5.
Yeah, I saw you.
Yeah,
doing good.
Yeah, we won the qualifying race yesterday, so we'll be starting P1 this afternoon, and then also in the Minis versus Mustangs. My partner Andrew Wade and I managed to finish first in that race as well.
That was so much fun yesterday.
But I'll tell you, I'm envious of the horsepower these guys have out here right now, and the braking and the handling and all the other fantastic evolutionary improvements from the cars we're driving to these wonderful machines.
Alan, how's your weekend?
Oh, it's great. You know, Group 5 is such a nice group, especially after these fast guys. Group 5 is the birth of the modern GT cars that we're seeing right now. So all the basic, the suspension geometry, the slick tires, the high horsepower cars are in Group 5, which is great to watch right after these guys.
Well, we've got an almighty battle. Zach Brown from McLaren is doing a real good job in that V8 supercar as he comes into the corkscrew. He's hounding that Porsche as he has been throughout most of the day. And as you can see, I'm joined by Martin Lauber and Alan Tepping. Great to have you guys on board. What do you think, first and foremost, about Velocity Invitational as an event? You guys do a lot of events?
Well, I think right now Velocity is the prime event in the United States for vintage racing. The way they set up the paddock is great, and it's just an amazing show for the public as well.
Yeah, I agree that it's wonderful for the public, and I have to say, as a racer, they haven't lost anything. You know, with the addition of all the amenities for the public, it has not taken away from the racing whatsoever. In fact, the organizer, Jeff O'Neill, he's such a racer. He stepped into our Mini on Friday.
I saw that, I heard that.
And he had never driven one. My co-driver and I were unavailable to qualify the car. We had a prior commitment. He stepped in, never drove one, put the thing on P7. And so he's a true racer. You know, I mean, he loves good wine and good food and a wonderful atmosphere, but he also loves driving. And so he has managed to combine those two passions in a way that benefits all the rest of us.
So it's your fault. You've ruined him.
Yeah.
You see, he thought he had to, the only way he could have fun was in a multi-million-dollar car, but you've just proved that a Mini is just as much fun.
No, but if he wants to, he could go buy 100 of them, and then, you know, we could have our own series.
Yeah, we could. Alan, what have you seen this weekend that you've enjoyed or put your eye across and thought, ooh, that's nice, I hadn't noticed that before?
Well, yeah, you know, I'm not driving this weekend, which is a shame, but
you can have more fun.
Yeah, well, kind of. It's kind of a torture as well. You know, I see my friends all driving and racing and having fun, and I'm like, you know, I could be out there and doing my stuff. But it's also fun just to enjoy and have a sip of wine and
there you go,
chill out.
Well, talking of chilling out, we're about to get to the closing stages of this Group 9 race. This is the final lap, and it's been a cracking battle between the two Corvettes, but it's coming to a close because the number 50 of George Crass about to make it happen. How's the track been to this weekend? Because it's been a bit chilly. Have you had the grip you wanted? Have the tires been up to temp?
You know, today we will have, because the sun has come out. It's going to help us quite a bit. It's been a little slick yesterday, Friday and yesterday, so this is great watching these Corvettes. Just
It is, and it's also great that they're not finishing the way they did back in the days with Borgmeister and the other Corvette team, right?
Yeah, look at them. They're not letting up at all.
No.
Yeah.
And look, they're going to be together almost as they cross the line. Out of the last corner they come then. A wonderful race between these two, and it's still going to be nip and tuck at the line. It's getting very close, but just holding off. Crass takes the win, and that was great. And I love to see it from the drone because you could see how he was catching. That was great. Awesome stuff.
That's wonderful. Somebody owes somebody one.
Did a great job, yeah. Somebody owes, somebody a drink, yeah?
Yeah.
No question. Well done to George Crass, though. Now, I've been mentioning the corner that is Wayne Rainey, and of course we've been mentioning the corner that is named after Mario Andretti, and we have both those icons here this weekend. And jokingly, Wayne told me that he was still sweeping his. That's why he comes to the track now. He lives just down the road.